Hi guys, and welcome to today's video, which we will be talking about what a wrapped car or how wrap on a car holds up after about 2 years. It's very interesting. Obviously a lot of people maybe with wrapped cars will know obviously it lifts in certain areas, the wrap can fade, obviously stuff like that, just from general obviously being sun bleached, you know, being in the sun, being in the heat, being in the cold, what the weather effect can have on a wrapped car, and if you're thinking about having a wrapped car and how well it will hold up after a long amount of time. So yeah, we'll get into how the wrap is held up over 2 years. Right, let's get into this. First things first, I have started a gaming channel, so if anyone's interested in gaming, I'm playing a lot of FIFA at the moment, but it will be like COD and other games like Forza and stuff like that. So if you're interested in gaming, subscribe to Jsmk Gaming. I'll put a link in the description. So yeah, just quick shameless plug. So the first thing to mention about my car is obviously one, it's two colours. The front is something called Tech190 Wrap, which they do lots of sort of out there metallic, flips, matte colours, and the rear is 3M. So obviously a lot of people have probably heard of 3M wrap. It's a very standard wrap, it's a very good wrap. A lot of people use 3M. It's a lot of glosses, it's a lot of mattes. They don't really have many metallics, many flip colours, but they do very good quality wrap just as a standard wrap. And then if you want to go something a bit garish, you know, they do Tech180, Tech190, and then a Nosotech. They're the sort of more out there wraps that are a bit different. I think the Tech190 is probably slightly cheaper than the 3M. The 3M is slightly more expensive. It's a better material. It's an easier material to work with. So yeah, just generally, the Tech190 is the front of the car, 3M is the back of the car. So yeah, just for references, if you're thinking, oh, I wonder how this certain wrap holds up, I ironically have two, so I'll be able to compare both of them. So coming to the front of the car, places where you'd expect lifts are places like here. Obviously, this is also where if they were going to, which actually they haven't, so this whole front piece, the whole front bumper is done in one piece, but these are the sort of places where you're likely to get cuts just because of these indents sort of bits. So wrap is likely to lift here, which it hasn't on either side. I don't think, no, it hasn't. The only actual damage on the front of the car is stuff like stone chips. So like you can see there's a couple on the bonnet, I think, if you look really closely. Yeah, so there's a couple of stone chips that you can sort of see, but the car easily passes like the 2 metre, 3 metre, you know, stand back, you never see them. But if you come up close, there are certain little stone chips that will just start to appear, which, you know, just over probably what, 30,000 miles of driving, just generally pick up. But coming to the side of the car, yet again, absolutely no lifts on the wings, nothing at the bottom here. So yet again, it's places like this that anyone with a wrapped car will know that where it's been indented slightly, it can tend to lift. The mirrors are absolutely fine, not a single lift on them. So yeah, generally, the whole front of the car and the middle of the car, the Tech190 wrap, it hasn't lifted, it hasn't faded. The only thing you could potentially see in the daylight, which unfortunately it is daylight, but there's no direct sun, is although it is nice and glossy here, and it is nice and glossy down here, obviously, where it probably gets the most damage, you know, from just general road and stones and mud, probably just from general washing, there might be light scratches that you could see, obviously, just from, you know, general washing it over and over and over again. It doesn't matter how immaculately, you know, you wash a car, sometimes you just, you know, you get scratches, there might be a stone in the middle, you don't know. But there probably would be, not that you can see it now, but there probably would be a slight swirl mark. You would have slight scratches on it. But yet again, it's the only thing you sort of notice in direct sunlight at a certain angle. But most of the time, it looks, hi Maya, it looks how it does now, which is just very clean and glossy. And obviously it does have, when the sun's out, that sort of goldy metallic flick, which you can't really see at the moment because it's just cloudy and overcast. Now coming to the rear of the car is the first places where I've had any lifts, and even so, it's been, you know, 2 years of heat and freezing cold and, you know, massive hot temperatures, so you have got to expect it, but even so, you know, it's still pretty good. Yet again, it's one whole piece, I have checked, but I've got a tiny little lift there. As you can see, there's a tiny little bubble there. So that's the first little lift. Yet again, up here, there are slight, very slight lifts. The whole rest of the car, yet again, is absolutely perfect. Over here, it's not lifted yet. So over here, it's absolutely perfect. And here, it's absolutely perfect. So that is the only lift we've had. And then on the spoiler at the top, if you have a look down here, yeah, you can just see slight little bubbles just start to form there. But considering how long it's been, and you know, that is a very harsh indent, like going straight up. So you do have to expect lifts over time, but it's only, you know, come up recently, and also it's not that terrible. You know, who's looking at the top of your spoiler? Not many people. Obviously the badges, they've not lifted at all. There's no damage on them. The only thing I would say is because my car's a diesel and it's like, you know, smoked over time, you know, generally, I've put on my FR badge recently. Where I put my FR badge on recently, the green is a lot more saturated, it's a lot nicer, where the rear badge and the Leon badge are slightly just darker. Like, even when I clean them, they're just slightly sort of stained. So obviously where it's poured out diesel or, you know, just generally smoked, it's just slightly stained the badges, which I'm assuming is probably the same for the whole car, but you would never notice it really because it just looks matte black. But yeah, so I have noticed that, where that's just, you know, something that a diesel, you know, a diesel does do. It does, if it's been remapped, it will smoke slightly, and you know, that's just one of those things. But yeah, so I have noticed that, yeah, the Tech190 Wrap is a lot cleaner, brand new, obviously. And the only other damage on the rear of the car, so there's the slight lift there and there's the slight lift on the other side of that indentation there, is actually here, but it's only here, and you'll probably not be able to see it on camera because it is slightly dirty. Yeah, there. You can see that slight mark there. So obviously I have a German Shepherd who's just running around like a lunatic at the moment. There she is. So obviously where she's got in and out of the car and smacked her like feet and dragged her feet up and down the bumper, there's tiny little light scratches, which in the grand scheme of things is rather minor. Like, considering how much she does get in and out of the car, it's held up amazingly well. So yeah, but there are just very slight, see if I can get one on camera again. Yeah, there you go. There's sort of just ever so slight scratch right there where she just got in and out of the car. But yet again, you stand 5 feet away, you're never seeing that scratch in a million years. But it is something just to even consider, you know, that's how well this wrap has held up. 2 years, not a single lift anywhere really, except top of the spoiler and in there. And also how well it does with scratches, with just general wear and tear. Myra in shot again. Love it. Hello, darling. Good girl. But yeah, so no fading, no real lifts, no real damage. What I will own up to is I didn't have the door sills done. So I didn't have the door sills done, as you can see. So there's just a line here. I also very, very rarely, maybe twice or 3 times, have cleaned the inside of my doors. As you can tell, they're absolutely filthy. But what that shows is, even though I've only ever cleaned it like 3 times and these do get filthy, the wrap still hasn't lifted all the way along here. So it is credit, obviously, to Rapid Graphics for doing an amazing job. But also it shows you how strong and sturdy this wrap is. And the most recent thing I've had wrap is one of my spokes. So if you're looking at your wheels and thinking, oh, I wonder how good or what I could do to make the wheels a bit more interesting. Obviously I have black wheels, which I do like. I normally prefer silver wheels, but obviously on a green and black car, black wheels just made more sense. So yeah, so I had the spoke wrapped, and it is held up incredibly well. Like, it's not even lifted. Obviously it's absolutely filthy with brake dust and dirt at the moment, but when it's clean, it looks really good. The colour still pops, yet again, like the whole car. When it's dirty, you know, it still looks the right colour, but when it's clean, that metallic pearl still absolutely pops and looks amazing. So if you are thinking about getting, or if you are thinking about wrapping your car and what sort of wraps to go for, I've had absolutely no issues whatsoever with the Tech190 wrap. And even with the 3M wrap, it's been 99% perfect. Like, other than the slight lifts on the top of the spoiler and the tiny little lifts in the indentation of the BTCC rear bumper, the car has been absolutely perfect. Like, the wrap's held up amazingly. It still beads incredibly. Obviously you just put a wax on it and it just beads unbelievably easy. The only thing that obviously these wraps don't have, that sort of the Jsmk wrap has, is if you do get scratches. Like at one point I drove past a branch fell down as I was driving past it, and it scratched all the way up the left side of the car, which yet again you can't really see. Yeah, you can't see it. I was just trying to see if I could find it. You can't see it, but it's the sort of thing where it has left a slight mark. Like in the very perfect lighting, you can just see a slight mark. And in a Jsmk wrap, you can actually polish out scratches because it's so like paint, that wrap. Like, I don't know how it works, but you can polish out scratches, where these wraps you can't. It's been done for 2 years now. I'd say the wrap is probably still 97% perfect. Like, it is pretty much as good as brand new, other than tiny little lifts and probably general scratches from washes and stuff like that. Just general wear and tear and stone chips and all sorts. But yeah, guys, I hope this helped. Please subscribe to Jsmk Gaming, and I will catch you in the next one.